Hello and welcome to Cat Eye Studio. I'm here with creator and founder Kat Sloma. Hello, Kat.
Hi, Fiona.
Just recently, you have launched your new e-course, Find Your Eye. Can you tell us a little bit about when you first came up with the idea?
The Find Your Eye series comes out of my own personal journey with photography. I was living and working in Italy, and our family, we traveled quite frequently. I took my camera with me. I was capturing all sorts of interesting pictures. And then, of course, family and friends back home in the U.S. wanted to see what was going on. And so I would update my blog at the beginning very infrequently. And I had a friend who gave me a hard time, said, please update your blog. So I said, okay, well, I'll post a picture a day, just write something about it. I found I didn't like writing about, hey, here's what we did on the weekend. But since I loved photography and I was enjoying that aspect of creatively exploring Europe, it was a good fit. So I started to post a picture a day, write about it. And over time, what I discovered is I found my eye. I had a style I never had recognized before. I think it built through time with this experience. And as I realized that, I looked back and said, wow, there's some real things I did to get to this point. And I could see how I took certain steps and how those steps helped me. I thought I could share this with other people. I was already blogging. I was already connecting with people online. I thought they might be interested in trying to find their own eye the way I had. And so that's when I first came up with the idea and started to think about how would I put this together? How would I take these steps and make them something?
And as you were going through these steps, did you log these down? Did you have a notebook, or what was the process?
Yeah, at the time I didn't recognize anything I was doing. The way I recognized it was by looking back through my blog and my journal. So I keep a personal journal where I write most every morning. It's just kind of my own thoughts and expression and what's on my mind. And then with the blog, I was writing more specifically about a photograph or something I was feeling about that photograph, or things, about places we had traveled. And what happened is I was actually recording my journey. I just didn't know it. I was recording the steps, not in an obvious way in terms of how to teach them, but I had at least recorded where I was going, what I was doing along the way. That record, just by going along with it, became the record I needed to pull out the key steps and the process I was using to put it together in the Find Your Eye course.
Did you feel like it gave you, as a photographer, a guideline to then to investigate further? Do you think these stepping stones helped you to find your creative eye?
Oh, absolutely. It's through this process of photographing and writing and looking deep inside, but also exploring the world around me, that I really did find what I consider my eye, my style, and it also provoked my creativity in new ways. And without all these different pieces that I was at the time, just kind of unknowingly doing, the way my life and my experience in Italy was coming together, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would not have found my eye, found this confidence and this excitement and this deep passion and love for photography as an art form and as a form of expression. So it was very key. I couldn't have done it without that personal journey.
And from there, it's quite incredible because you then decided to create an e-course. How did you go from that process? Was it easy to set up an e-course?
The idea for it came very naturally. So as I started to look, and I just started to outline, and I saw how it would fit together. So the idea and everything came together very easily. Setting it up was a different new challenge. I mean, you start out, you have this idea, and then you go, well, I'm just this one little person, and I've taken e-courses, and I've seen them online, but then how do I go about doing that? And so that part was the next step, right? This interesting challenge. How would I go about doing that? Who would be interested in supporting an e-course from someone that no one's ever heard of? I'm just this one little person. So that part was an interesting initial challenge, even to get over my own fears of asking, putting myself out there, finding ways to connect with people to see how I could do this. And then the final part, once I had started and I had an arrangement and I knew where I was going to host it, it was actually writing it. So the outline was there. I had the ideas in my head. I took on quite a big project that I hadn't realized at the time. The way I had it the first time I ran the course, it was 6 weeks total, 3 lessons a week. It was a lot of myself in the process of writing and taking that idea to something that I could then express to other people. Then the most interesting thing was, it felt at the time I had this huge accomplishment when I got the class done, and then I launched it out there, and the students started taking that material and using it and making it their own. It was this very surreal experience.
I bet that's quite an amazing time, though, when you first launch your e-course and then you see the students then taking note of what you're saying, and then they're going on their own journey. It must be quite nice to see people going through things at different times as well. It must be quite nice for you to see that.
It was incredibly satisfying, and it's rewarding when my students, or they say, I get it, or I just had this realization, or these pieces that I had on my own, and to know that my journey and putting it together in this way, so that other people could then follow the exercises. They were having a similar journey themselves, and they didn't have to go, they had a guide, a kind of a shortcut. They didn't have to just kind of muddle around and find it on their own. And it's incredibly rewarding when someone comes back and says, my confidence has increased because of this class. My photography has gotten better, and I'm so happy with where I am, because ultimately the Find Your Eye journey is about finding yourself through your photography and having that confidence in yourself to say, hey, this is me. This is who I am, expressed in photographs and images. And when you get to that point where you can start to do that, there's this incredible wellspring of confidence and well-being, and it just takes you more places creatively.
It sounds like it's almost an e-course of self-discovery as well.
It can be. I think it depends on each person's individual journey, but the ones who get the most out of the class are the ones who are ready to explore that connection, the images we create with ourselves, and how we express our inner selves through those images. And that journey and how that happens is all very different for different people. And that's the beauty of this journey, is it's the exercises, you find your own way.
Where do I book and how do I book for this e-course? Is it something that I can do in my own time, or is it a time set e-course?
Okay, so I'll answer the time piece first. The beauty of online courses, I think, is that they are just on your own time. There's no set class time where you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. It is time-based in the sense that there is a schedule, and the lessons come on a regular schedule, and we have a set period of time for the class where everyone knows. By time, I mean time in days or weeks, right? Over a month or two. This is when we have class. But at the same time, or by the same token, if you don't have time in that moment to complete an exercise, there's no expectation that you have to. The exercises, while the whole process builds on itself, it's not a process where if you skip one exercise, you can't do any of the rest. So students can pick and choose what they do based on their own time and their own interest in the material. And then we come together in a discussion group online. But again, it's not at a specific time. You can post if the time you have is 5 a.m. East Coast time in the U.S. It doesn't matter, because other people are posting their questions and their answers and their comments from all over the world on their time. And so it's a discussion, but it's just not real time.
Part 2 is coming soon.